Hello, namaste, my name is Vasanta and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be speaking about the predictions for the month of November. So as you know, and if you've been following my channel, the past few months have been really challenging for humanity. And finally now, in the month of November, we're going to be reaching a period where certainly we're going to be having more peace and more understanding of what has just happened in an emotional level. So due to the presence of Saturn in Scorpio for the past few months, we had a very challenging time when it came to emotions. So many cycles have closed. And finally now in November, new cycles are opening for good luck, peace, and harmony in our lives. Also, Saturn becomes determined in Sagittarius. So there's many things that are going to be going on, in the sense of healing during this month of November. Due to the presence of planet Venus in Libra conjunct with Jupiter and the Sun. So it's going to be a rather peaceful month. It's a time for us to reflect and to understand what has happened during the year. So I will go point by point now, and I will give a summary to you of what the planets are going to be like in the month of November. So if you want to find out, follow me, and before we go into anything, don't forget to subscribe. Click the subscribe button below so that every month you can receive the astrological updates that I give you. So with this, thank you, and let's find out. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about is the presence of Venus in Libra. Venus in Libra means that the power of Jupiter right now is going to be enhanced. Why? Because every sign has a lordship. So lordship is the planet that owns the sign, and currently Venus is to a great extent influencing Jupiter in its choices, because Libra belongs to Venus. So by Venus being in its own sign, the month proves, and the predictions for the month are really good for stabilizing life, for harmony, for knowledge, for wisdom, for sharing community, and overall what we're going to be seeing during this time is that very strong partnerships are going to be formed. You're going to see that the friends around you are really with you, and that the people that you're meant to do something with are going to unite, and out of the kindness of their heart they're all going to try to help you. So everybody is helping each other at this moment. So this is the result of this beautiful transit of Venus and Libra. So as well, it is a time that comes for us to be able to for some time be peaceful and prepare for the next leg of the journey. As you know, the last year was extremely tough for the world in general. And as we progress towards the end of the year, it's a period of digestion, really, where emotionally so many people got hit so hard, so many cycles were closed, that right now, this presence of Venus and Jupiter in Libra comes as definitely as a sign of relief. So this is going to be going on for for the entire month. Venus is going to be until the 26th of November in the sign of Venus. So expect get-togethers and gatherings with family and friends. Expect partnerships to be solved and resolved. Expect for very strong bonds with your friends, and generally a period where there's going to be a lot of love and a lot of understanding, around your relationships. So that is the positive side, the very positive side of the month, and it is very well welcomed. So you can expect, reunions or better surroundings. Very beautiful type of life is going to come, so you'll get the opportunity to be in, in beautiful surroundings, really. So try to make the best of use of it. Catch your breath. Remember that life is not, an experience where you have to be always, in stress, and running. Some periods like that come, so like the one we've experienced this year. which has been extremely tough. But you know, afterwards, life keeps going on, and normality is that, of course, you know, the world is always being blessed with kindness, beauty, time to reflect, time to grow, time to think about what the next step is. So, in the next thing that we're going to be experiencing during this month is that on the 16th of November, the Sun is going to change from Libra to Scorpio. So it's going to change from a sign that belongs to Venus to a sign that belongs to Mars. And what this basically means is that we have the chance to take positive action, and you know, there's a positive reaffirmation of the ideas that we've been having so far. So we're going to have good results. And when the Sun goes into Scorpio, it's all about having self-confidence, really. So next month of December is going to be a ride through trying to understand what it is that we can do well and structuring plans so that we can get there. Then we will have Mars in Virgo all of the month. And Mars in Virgo basically means that, you know, the energy of instinct and survival is going to go all towards accounting and trying to make plans for next year, really. I think it's a month where we're definitely going to be, you know, making a break, cutting our losses, and then really trying to understand where the accounts are at the moment so that we can try to understand what the steps forward are. So it is not at all a month of loss, but it is certainly a month of readjustment and a month where, you know, we need to put our feet on the ground and really, instead of taking action, without thinking, I think you know, a lot of the energy is going to go towards really putting it on paper, making the accounts, and see how we can make the plan work. Then we have a very, you know, it's an occurrence where Mars is in Virgo and Mercury is in Scorpio. So it is called a Parivartan Yoga. So it's when two planets exchange signs. So Mercury owns Virgo, and Mars is going to be present in Virgo, and Mars owns Scorpio, and Mercury is going to be present in Scorpio. So what happens in this time is when two very opposed points of view, which are Mars and Mercury, they don't get along. But two very opposed points of view understand that only if they come together and they work together can they get the result, or the beneficial result they both need. So this is why they exchange signs. And, you know, at this point, the talent of Mercury is needed in the house of Mars, and the talent of Mars is needed in the house of Mercury. So what this is all going to end up being, again, you know, is, you know, making plans and, you know, trying to find a step forward so that we can get the results that we need to get according to, you know, the losses of the year, or, you know, the plans that are going to go forward towards the future of next year. So it is definitely a time for planning, and it is a time where we're going to be really thinking about our next step and our next action. So it is a time for change. What this Parivartana is going to bring is a change that is going to be good, but the change is going to require, you know, a certain readjustment of the way that we see reality. So a bit of a new experience is going to come along. Then on the 3rd of November, Saturn, planet Saturn went out of the Gandanta. And this is very important because Gandanta points are very dreadful points where we usually find emotional crises. And we also find, you know, natural disasters. In the case, for example, of the United States, we have seen the tragedies that have gone by around the 3rd of November. So all this week, you know, the reason why these things happen is because Saturn was in the Gandanta point. Now, gladly, you know, all the planets have crossed the Gandantas. A few months ago, we had Rahu crossing over from Leo to the sign of Cancer. That was a really tough Gandanta. It was around the time of the eclipse, and it was also around the time that the cyclones and the hurricanes came. And then, you know, most recently we had Saturn crossing the Gandanta to Sagittarius. So that was you know, that was a very, very tough time as well. Mainly closing cycles. And remember, Saturn used to be retrograde for the past few months of our life. Saturn has been retrograde. So it's almost like, you know, wherever you wanted to invest your energy or wherever you wanted to move forward, so many things were stuck. So many things were stopped, and now finally what we're going to start seeing is that there's a direction forward towards the future. And also there's a there's a way that we're going to start seeing how to move forward, which is very, very important. So when Saturn becomes fixed and direct in a sign, Saturn adds purpose. In this case, Saturn is going to be going into the sign of Sagittarius, which is the most philosophical sign of them all. It is the mastery of fire. So if you know me, I use the Dharma code. And in fire, you start with Aries, and Aries is hero energy. So it's all about personal power, personal freedom, personal will, personal independence, and what we can do with it. So it's a bit of a risk taker. Then you get to a stable point in fire signs, which is Leo, or the creator, which is the self-confidence one has found in himself during the hero journey. And now, the Leo knows that he is good at something. So a bit of a character develops, an individuality develops, but more in a, in a higher level. And Sagittarius is the sign where fire reaches mastery. Because Sagittarius understands it's not about oneself, it's about what oneself can do for another, or the value that oneself can add, or the, possibility or capacity to give joy, wisdom, and service. To another, to impact consciousness with goodness by performing our duty. So it is explorer energy, definitely. And when it comes to philosophy, it is the most wise of signs. So wisdom is something that, it's knowledge that has been internalized, and we truly understand why things are the way they are. So in this case, what Saturn and Sagittarius is going to be doing is it's going to be activating all the area of religious and philosophical thought. It is also going to be helping us to ask the questions regarding intelligence, artificial intelligence, the origin of the soul, the start of very, very intelligent machines, which is going to put, is going to bring forward the paradigm of what it is that, intelligence and all of that is. As well, even though I don't really put emphasis on all of this in my channel, aliens and all of this. And I do see it in the future that this is going to be a very, very relevant theme in the next step forward of humanity. Things are going to start accelerating very, very much when it comes to, as in the Middle Ages, it was a little bit before the Middle Ages, Christopher Columbus took a boat, and then there was a new world that was discovered across the ocean. Of course, somebody had done it before, but that's when it really kicked in. So this time that we're going to go through is compared to that one, where humanity is going to cross an ocean, but in this, in this time, it's going to be an ocean of space, really. And what's going to happen is, I think humanity is going to start opening up to man missions to other planets within our solar system, of course. So that is going to be, a step forward. We're reaching a point where the technology, the viability, and the strength of production can be so that humanity can finally take that step. So that is really going to redefine, a lot of the conceptions that we have right now in our neighborhood, just as the European thought was redefined by the discovery of America. Well, the entire planet is going to be redefined by the possibility of exploring other planets. So that is going to come up along with what I was mentioning before, the artificial intelligence part. And then due to this, remember that wherever Saturn stands, it gives a sense of responsibility and a call for truth. So present in the sign of Sagittarius, Saturn is going to want truth when it comes to Dharma, when it comes to, the positions people accept and the duties that people accept. Now, more than anything, humanity is going to really, really go through a part where humanity is questioning, what am I doing with my life? What is the step forward? What are we going to do about the environment, about the policies, and, about the way that the world is going to go forward? The cycle lasts for 2.5 months, but in this month it starts. It's going to be full on. So gladly, Saturn's out of Scorpio, so that is going to certainly make things much easier. But Saturn going into Sagittarius is not the lightest of themes. It can be pretty, it can be pretty creative in the sense that a lot of effort is going to be put towards, realizing long-term goals that start right now, or long-term visions. So, if you think of humanity, back then when technology wasn't so advanced and crossing a ship to cross the ocean, it was a vision, definitely. And what we're trying to do right now is cross to another planet. So it's a bit of the same. So during these 2 years, I think humanity is working hard for that. As well, humanity is becoming aware of spirituality. So there's going to be definitely a spiritual boom. And a lot of the dialogue that we've been having up to this point is, I see, going to be greatly challenged by this presence of Saturn in Scorpio. So, towards the end of the year, I think we do have a celebration of both, the way that we want. So far, we have learned something from life. And humanity has just passed a huge test of maturity that will enable it to go forward. Gladly, from what I see and what I can tell you in my small service and my small perspective as an individual, is that humanity passed the test quite well. So we do have a way forward, and gladly I can say that, whatever is going to come, we just need to figure out what way we're going to get there, because I think the world chose to have an extended period of prosperity. So, that's the good news. Finally, towards the end of the month, we have Mercury going, conjunct Saturn, and it's also going to have an aspect of retrogression. So towards the end of the month, we're going to start having a little trouble with Mercury, but really, after all we've been through throughout this year, it's really nothing to worry about. Try to remember, that as hard as things may go, or things may be challenging with that presence of Saturn in Sagittarius, if the whole paradigm of the way that you philosophically see life is challenged, remember that really, if you want to understand philosophy, it's very, very simple. Philosophy means to have a love for knowledge, and more than anything, for wisdom. So the highest wisdom that you can put in your heart is always trying to understand that you have an eternal connection with absolute consciousness, with the sweet absolute. You have an eternal connection with God. And that connection can become a wonderful relationship when, through your service, you express love and affection for the opportunity that you have to be aware, to be alive, and to use that opportunity in the measure of your possibilities, and to the extent you can, to try to add value and happiness to the experience of another. So with that, I will say goodbye for now. And I want to say namaste. I honor the divine in you, and Radhe Radhe. May the goddess of love reign in your heart. My new website is up. So if you would like to know what your Dharma code is, which one is the value that you embody out of purity, truth, discipline, or kindness, you can go to my website, and you can do the test for free. There's a free tester there. So I invite you to do it. It will help you a lot. Also, if you are doing any type of branding, if you're a YouTuber and you do branding, you're going to get a beautiful booklet along with your tester that guides you through the process of, getting the basics of your brand done, such as, to understand what are your aspirations as a brand, and what are the aspirations of the people looking for you. So everything it's a marketing system that allows you to know yourself, very deeply, and it's all for free. I'm giving one of the 4 booklets depending on what you score in the tester. So it's there on the link on the website. I wish you a wonderful month, and thank you for watching.